introducing the kids to other fun beverages like seltzer water that have no artificial sweeteners and no sugar. And then another question, is a focus on sugar-sweetened beverages too narrow for dietary counseling around weight control? And I noticed that Dr. Hugh was very careful in making sure that we all understood that it's a much bigger picture than just sugar-sweetened beverages. And I agree, sugar-sweetened beverages are not the only sources of refined carbohydrate, and many dietary behaviors contribute to obesity. But for patients who are overwhelmed, reducing consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages certainly is a reasonable first step based on those 2 studies that I went into some detail on. A message to reduce consumption is arguably less confusing than other dietary intervention messages, and the ideal replacement is simply unsweetened water. And over time, and depending on patient readiness, a practitioner can expand the focus of nutrition education and dietary counseling, certainly to start looking at a more comprehensive plate model, as we do in our Fit Kit. So, in summary and conclusion, academic debate is important for advancing science. And I think one of the things that I've learned over my career is that academic debate is a necessity in terms of getting us to think through things differently. But in this case, I don't think it needs to detract from a recommendation to reduce consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages. And I think those on both sides of the debate would agree with that. The expanding evidence base supports a recommendation to reduce consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages in efforts aimed at obesity prevention and treatment. Additional research may be needed to strengthen the evidence base, particularly regarding individual susceptibility to the adverse effects of consuming sugar-sweetened beverages and mechanisms for these effects. So this is my final slide. I just want to note, as David already did, he's been a mentor and a colleague now for almost 2 decades. It's been fun doing all of these studies together. These are other authors on the Beverage paper. I'd like to particularly note Henry Feldman, who has been our long-term statistician, and Steve Gortmaker, who has also was also involved with our New England Journal publication. This is the staff that worked on the sugary beverage studies, and I'd like to note particularly Maria Schwartz, who's here today, who's working with us on the Fit Kit. So thank you very, very much for your attention at this late hour. David has said that I can take 2 questions before the panel discussion. Sure. Sure, I think that's totally, peer pressure is totally at work, especially, around some of these sugary beverages, these sports beverages at athletic events and that type of thing. As we're working with the community organizations and our community partners, we also have a part of our Fit Kit that's focused on policy within those organizations to try to get the sugary beverages just completely out of there, so that when kids come to the Boys and Girls Club in the afternoon, as an example, they're not readily available. Yeah.
I wonder whether the effect sizes for sugars and beverages on body weight of the children would be different among younger children versus, say, older teenagers, adolescents. Is there any data to suggest maybe the effect size could be a little larger for younger ones compared to older ones?
The effect of drinking sugar-sweetened beverages as it relates to age?
Yes, like effect modification by children's age.
We did not, and the age range in our study was too narrow to really look at effect modification by age, but there are data published in the literature. I can think of one that was published in Pediatrics in 2013, suggesting that consumption as young as 2 years of age can promote greater weight gain in children at 4 years of age. In terms of the effect modification, I'm not sure.
There may not be enough data to support that, right?
No,
Okay.
no, I
Thank
don't.
you.
Yeah. All right, thank you.